Welcome back. Let's just continue. I'm laying in my bed, but after this I will read about a little bit Steam Engine, and then I will continue my graphic cards. So let's read this because
GeForce 400 series. GeForce 400 series released at April 12, 2010. Codename GF10's architecture for models GeForce series, GeForce GT series, GeForce GT series, GeForce GTX series. Transistors 260M 40nm, GT218, GeForce 405 only, 585M 40nm, GF108. 1.170M 40nm, GF106. 1.950M 40nm, GF104. 1.950M 40nm, GF114. 3.200M 40nm, GF100. Card Central Level 420 GT 430 Mid-Range GT 440 GTS 450 GTX 460 GTX 465 High-End GTX 470 GTX 480 API Support Direct 3D 12.0 Feature Level 11_0 1 Shader Model 5.1 OpenGlow 1.1 OpenGlow 4.6 History Predecessor GeForce 200 Series Successor GeForce 500 Series Support Status Unsupported. Serving as the introduction of FEMI, the GeForce 400 series is a series of graphics processing units developed by Nvidia. Its release was originally slated in November 2009. Winking sad smiley 2. However, after delays, it was released on the 26th of March, 2010, with availability following in April 2010. Its direct competitor was ATI's Radeon HD 5000 series. Architecture. Nvidia described the FEMI microarchitecture as the next major step in its line of GPUs following the Islamic architecture used since the G80. The GF100, the first FEMI architecture product, is large, 512-stream processors, in 16 groups of 32, and 3.0 billion transistors, manufactured by TSMC in a 40nm process. It is Nvidia's first chip to support OpenGL 4.0 and Direct3D 11. No products with a fully enabled GF100 GPU were ever sold. The GTX 480 had dual streaming multiprocessor disabled. The GTX 470 had 2 streaming multiprocessors and 1 memory controller disabled. The GTX...
yes, I had to look my cell phone. I think I just read again. Sorry, because I cannot look my cell phone and listening to this. So I'll not just do it to just records. So and I need something to drink and got to video public. The GeForce 200s. Good, and can add to my playlists. Good, let's get something to drink, then I'll read again. I have a little bit I like to read about steam engines. This Relesco toy steam engine, Dynamo, garden railways. I will do that before the camcorder is out of power. Just continue tomorrow reading about the old graphic cards. Let's get some cola. It's Cola Light without sugar. Have no sugar, so it should not be a problem to drink it. But let's read again. And then after this I will read this Relesco and Dynamo, I think. I'll look at that when I'm finished. No, I don't do this just to record a video. I do it because I like to read about it myself. So I cannot sit chatting on my cell phone same time, because then I have to stop the computer voice.
GeForce 400 series. GeForce 400 series released at April 12, 2010. Codename GF10's architecture for models GeForce series, GeForce GT series, GeForce GT series, GeForce GTX series. Transistors 260M 40nm, GT218, GeForce 405 only, 585M 40nm, GF108. 1.170M 40nm, GF106. 1.950M 40nm, GF104. 1.950M 40nm, GF114. 3.200M 40nm, GF100. Card entry level 420 GT 430 mid-range GT 440 GT S450 GT X460 GT X465 high-end GT X470 GT X480 API support Direct 3D 12.0 feature level 11_0 1 Shader model 5.1 OpenGlow Pencil 1.1 OpenGlow Pencil 4.6 History predecessor GeForce 200 series successor GeForce 500 series support status unsupported. Serving as the introduction of FEMI. The GeForce 400 series is a series of graphics processing units developed by Nvidia. Its release was originally slated in November 2009. Winking sad smiley 2. However, after delays, it was released on the 26th of March, 2010, with availability following in April 2010. Its direct competitor was ATI's Radeon HD 5000 series. Architecture. Nvidia described the FEMI microarchitecture as the next major step in its line of GPUs following the Islamic architecture used since the G80. The GF100, the first FEMI architecture product, is large, 512 stream processors, in 16 groups of 32, and 3.0 billion transistors, manufactured by TSMC in a 40 nm process. It is Nvidia's first chip to support OpenGL 4.0 and Direct 3D11. No products with a fully enabled GF100 GPU were ever sold. The GTX 480 had own streaming multiprocessor disabled. The GTX 470 had 2 streaming multiprocessors and 1 memory controller disabled. The GTX 465 had 5 streaming multiprocessors and 2 memory controllers disabled. Consumer GeForce cards came with 256 MB attached to each of the enabled GDDR5 memory controllers, for a total of 1.5, 1.25 or 1.0 GB. The Tesla C2050 had 512 MB on each of 6 controllers, and the Tesla C2070 had 1024 MB per controller. Both the Tesla cards had 14 active groups of stream processors. The chips found in the high-performance Tesla branding feature memory with optional ECC and the ability to perform one double precision floating point operation per cycle per core. The consumer GeForce cards are artificially driver-restricted tune DP operation per 4 cycles. With these features, combined with support for Visual Studio and C++, Nvidia targeted professional and commercial markets, as well as use in high-performance computing. Fermi is named after Italian physicist Enrico Fermi. Current limitations and trade-offs. The quantity of onboard SRAM per ALU actually decreased proportionally compared to the previous G200 generation despite the increase of the L2 cache from 256 KB per 240 ALUs to 768 KB per 512 ALUs, since Fermi has only 32768 registers per 32 ALUs, versus 16,384 per 8 ALUs. Only 48 KB of shared memory per 32 ALUs, versus 16 KB per 8 ALUs, and only 16 KB of cache per 32 ALUs, versus 8 KB constant cache per 8 ALUs plus 24 KB texture cache per 24 ALUs. Parameters such as the number of registers can be found in the CUDA compute capability comparison table in the reference manual. 3. History. On the 30th of September, 2009, Nvidia released a white paper describing the architecture SAD-Smiley-4. The chip features 16 streaming multiprocessors, each with 32 CUDA cores capable of one single precision operation per cycle or one double precision operation every other cycle, a 40-bit virtual address space which allows the host's memory to be mapped into the chip's address space, meaning that there is only one kind of pointer and making C++ support significantly easier, and a 384-bit wide GDDR5 memory interface. As with the G80 and GT200, threads are scheduled in warps, sets of 32 threads crooning on a single shader core. While the GT200 had 16 kilobytes shared memory associated with each shader cluster, ARM required data to be read through the texturing units if a cache was needed. GF100 has 64 kilobytes of memory associated with each cluster, which can be used either as a 48 kilobytes cache plus 16 kilobytes of shared memory, or as a 16 kilobytes cache plus 48 KB of shared memory, along with a 768 kilobytes L2 cache shared by all 16 clusters. The white paper describes the chip much more as a general-purpose processor for workloads encompassing tens of thousands of threads, reminiscent of the TRA-MTA architecture, though without that machine's support for very efficient random memory access. than as a graphics processor. Many users reported high temperatures and power consumption while receiving correspondingly poor performance improves in the GeForce 400 series Femi GPUs when compared to rival competitor AMD's Radeon HD 5000 series, leading AMD to create and release a promotional video, The Misunderstanding 5, to poke fun at the issue. In the video, a police unit is seen commencing a raid on a house with a large thermal profile, indicating a grow operation. However, upon entering the home it is apparent that the source of the high temperature is a Femi GPU. 6.7. It became a common joke that one could fry an egg on a Femi GPU at full load. 8. Products. 1 SPS, shader processors, unified shaders, texture mapping units, render output units. 2. Each streaming multiprocessor, SM, in the GPU of GF100 architecture contains 32 SPS and 4 SFUs. Each streaming multiprocessor, SM, in the GPU of GF104/106/108 architecture contains 48 SPS and 8 SFUs. Each SP can fulfill 2 single precision fused multiply add FMA operations per cycle. Each SFU can fulfill 4 SF operations per cycle. 1 FMA operation counts for 2 floating point operations. So for theoretical single precision peak performance, with shader count, N, and shader frequency, F, GHz, can be estimated by the following: FLOP SSP almost equal to FN2, FMA. Total processing power, for GF100 FLOP SSP almost equal to FM, 32 SPS2, FMA, plus 44 SFUs, and for GF104/106/108 FLOP SSP almost equal to FM, 48 SPS2, FMA, plus 48 SFUs, or for GF100 FLOP SSP almost equal to FN 2.5 and for GF104/106/108 FLOP SSP almost equal to FN 8/3.9. SP, shader processor, unified shader, CUDA core, SFU, special function unit, SM, streaming multiprocessor. 3. Each SM in the GF100 contains 4 texture filtering units for every texture address unit. The complete GF100 die contains 64 texture address units and 256 texture filtering units. 10. Each SM in the GF104/106/108 architecture contains 8 texture filtering units for every texture address unit. The complete GF104 die contains 64 texture address units and 512 texture filtering units. The complete GF106 die contains 32 texture address units and 256 texture filtering units, and the complete GF108 die contains 16 texture address units and 128 texture filtering units. 11. All products are produced on a 40 nm fabrication process. All products support Direct 3D 12.0 on a feature level 11_0, OpenGL 4.6 and OpenCL 1.1. The only exception is the GeForce 405, an OEM-only card, which is based on the GT218 Tesla core only supporting DirectX 10.1. OpenGL 3.3 and no OpenCL support, and is the only card in the GeForce 400 range not based on the Femi microarchitecture. By the parameters, the GeForce 405 is identical to the GeForce 310, also an OEM-only card, which is itself based on the GeForce 210. All products have a single DB15 VGA connector on a full height and full length card, except Acer did otherwise. On the 8th of November, 2010, Nvidia released the GF110 chip, along with the GTX 580, 480S replacement. It is a redesigned GF100 chip, which uses significantly less power. This allowed Nvidia to enable all 16 SMS, all 16 cores, which was previously impossible on the GF100.